not whining, she's not complaining, she doesn't accept being a victim. She, you know, almost everybody have treated her so badly, and they have done so, you know, so many horrible things to her, but she doesn't accept it, and she doesn't want to be the victim they have tried to force her into, and she want to live, and she will never give up. And I think that's so liberating, and so it's so strong, her, you know, her battle for a better life and to actually be free. And I think that everybody can, I think that everybody has experienced in some point of their life that, okay, I'm not going to take this anymore. This is, you know, it's point of no return, and now I'm going to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to do this. I want to be my own. I want to go my own way. I'm going to be true to myself, and I'm going to, even if you don't like me, that's fine. I don't want to play the game of the charming, nice, sexy girl anymore. I'm me. So I think that everybody can relate to that somehow. I think I always try to, I want to be honest. I don't want to be, I don't want to fake. I always try to find something in me that I can translate into the situation where the character is. So if she's, if somebody is, for example, the rape scene, I haven't, you know, I've never been raped, but I know people who have been in the same kind of situations, and I felt, you know, in some, you know, when I was younger, I remember once when I was walking home from a party, and there was somebody walking behind me, and I felt, whoa, there's something sick in this energy, and I started to run, and the person was running after me, and then there came a bus, and I hit the bus, and I was off, and nothing happened. But the same kind of fear that probably she's feeling in that situation, then I can use my own and turn it up and make it bigger, and find some kind of truth in the situation she is in. So it's always like I have to go through myself and dig up things and twist it in or tune it in to her. So, and then after a while the character and me can melt together in a way, and it becomes something that is close to me. It's not me, but it's something, I don't want to have too much distance. I want it to be personal but not private. I'm not disturbed, but it was sometimes really hard. The whole story with, thank you, the whole story with the Guardian, it was like we had to go down to hell and stay there for a week. So but I knew that I wanted, and it was for me so necessary to do those scenes, because it tells something so important about Lisbeth, the way she can turn the whole situation, you know, the rape, he actually, the things he does to her, she turns it into strength and into power in a way, and she fights back, and so I knew that those situations are like puzzle pieces that we need to tell something about her. And it's so specific, you know. She walks home after the rape, and she doesn't call a taxi, she doesn't go on the bus, she doesn't go on the metro, she doesn't call anyone, she doesn't have anyone to call. She's so lonely, and she walks home, she goes into the kitchen, she opens the bag and looks at the camera. Do I have evidence? Can I win? Yes, I can. And then it's war instead of, because I think but it's very common that women and girls turn it against themselves, and if somebody does something horrible against you or something bad, then you start to think that something is wrong with me. It must be me. I'm the disgusting one. I'm the ugly, you know. Otherwise he wouldn't have done it, and they start to hate themselves and punishing themselves and all that. And I think that her way of turning it against him, that was so important for me. But when we were doing those scenes, it was really heavy, and I dreamt a lot of nightmares, and I felt very lost, and I was, you know, far out sometimes. But I think it's extremely important that you trust the people you're working with when you do scenes like that. That you know, okay, I can jump in, I can go into that dark area, and you will hold on to me, and you will not let me go, and then it's okay. And also the scene in the second movie when my father, you know, shoots me and they bury me, because I said I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to go all the way, and I want you to treat me like a piece of meat, because that's the way they do it. You know, her brother, he doesn't care. You know, he just throws her down, and they begin to throw mud and, you know, soil on her, and that's. And I said, you know, do it as you would have done it. So, and I promise, I will scream if I can't take it or if I panic. And then they did, and it was so. I didn't expect it to be so brutal. It was like somebody was punching me, because it's so heavy, because it's like 2 meters, and I was lying there just trying to relax, and then the first came, like a punch, you know, in my stomach, and then, but it was okay, and then the director, he screamed cut before, you know, but I felt like I can take it, you know, it's okay. So but that situation, it came back to me. Also in my dreams. It's always in my dreams.
Or nightmares.
Yeah, nightmares and dreams, and yeah.
So, you said that you dealt with the character for a year and a half. So, were there any points where you really struggled with some of the scenes? The content is very disturbing, and did it ever haunt you in any way, or were you disturbed by it?
You had mentioned how you don't want to be one of those actresses where when you see that person on film, it's like, oh, the Brad Pitt talks to, you know, Harrison Ford, or, you know. So isn't it a challenge then, working on Sherlock Holmes, to be like, Robert Downey Jr., and I mean, what was that like working with them, as they're obviously well known?
Yeah.
So related.
But the interesting thing is that I don't see people as, oh, this is a big movie star.
Right.
It's, and you know, when I met some of the head, you know, head studio guys and all that when I was in LA, and I don't see them, you know, it's not like, oh wow, you are the big boss, and you know, I'm gonna try to be really interesting and smart and, you know, make a good impression. It's like, I don't really work like that, and I don't see people like that. It's more like when, you know, when I met Robert, I met him actually when I was in LA in the end of August, and we sat down for, you know, maybe 30 minutes, and we were talking about what kind of movies do we want to make, and dreams, and you know, how do you work, and do you like to improvise, and you know, it was a very inspiring conversation. And then he's an actor, and he's a hard-working actor, and he's really serious, and he's fantastic, and that's all I see. You know, I see this actor that's really want to make great movies, and that's all. So it's much more about the persons that you're working with, and the whole, you know, the media, how media wants to turn people into, oh, this is a star, you know, this is whatever, you know, what they want to judge you to, or make you to, or, you know, praise you to. That's up to you know, the people outside. But when you're working, it's something. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, so you know, the next big thing is the remake, is Hollywood's remake of the first film. So, did you have any expectations, like David Fincher will call you and say, okay, Noomi, do it for America?
No,
next.
I did it for America. No, but no, actually I was very done with her. I felt, you know, after the third movie, the last scene, that, oh, good, I can let you go. Because she was in me for 1.5 years. It was quite a while, and I did, you know, I was preparing for like 7 months before, and then we were, I think it took like a year to do all the 3 movies, and then I was done, and I felt very strongly that this is over. This was this time in my life, and now it's time to move on. And I think it's also good to let things go, not to try to hold on it. So you know, everybody have asked me from, you know, when the first film was released, everybody asked me about the 4th book. You know, would you like to do the 4th film, and you know, could you consider doing it again? And I said no, I'm done. And he didn't finish the first book. You know, he wrote 3 books, and we did them, and that's good for me, and that's enough. And then when it's all those rumors about the remake came out, and everybody asked me about, well, this remake, would you like to? And I said no.
Did you meet the actress?
No, but no, be her as well. So we'll check with her. No, but I think that actually I don't see it like that. I think I was in Venice with the movie called Beyond, and it was quite interesting because everybody, the first day when I arrived, before people had seen the movie, everybody was asking me what is that and all that. Questions I've heard before. I liked it so much. And then I read the book, because I've seen the movie, everybody was talking about that movie. So I think that people are, and I was, if you continue to work and do, I knew something about her, or go into some kind of connection with her, and then fight, I always work. I think that people hopefully see my work. And you know, the experience after Venice is that, yeah, I think they will.
Where would you like to work more, in Europe or in the States?
Both. I think actually most of the American movies are shot in Europe because it's cheaper. There are, you know, I know now a couple of movies. I know people are working in Mission Impossible and they are in Prague, and I know that many movies actually are made outside the US. But I understand your question. Yeah, I would like to do both, probably. I think that many of the people that I admire and really respect and whose work I love to see and to watch is from the US. But I think I don't care actually if it's a big studio production or if it's a small independent film from Yugoslavia or whatever. For me, it's all about the script and the director and the actor. That's all that matters.
What I wrote about is you're basically going to be able to escape the girl box because you enter into this culture, the U.S. kind of movie culture, as a woman who's played a strong, kick-ass role. Lots of women in our culture get in the girl box, the rom-com, the pink, the wedding stuff. Yeah. You're not going to get any of those parts. And I think it's so exciting that you are entering our consciousness in such a strong role.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about that? I mean, Alien prequel, all these crazy rumors, I don't know if any of them are real or not, but just all the things that you're mentioned for are active, strong female roles.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Good.
But just the box that women
Yeah,
get
exactly. But I think also I think it's much easier to come into a room when you have done something that you're proud of, and that you can stand behind and support and say yes. I did, because Lisbeth is not, she's complicated. She's really, you know, she's very wounded inside, you know, her soul is really broken, so she does things that are over the top sometimes, and she crossed the line a couple of times. So it's not like, even though she is loved by many people, she's very dark and very out there sometimes as well. So I think it's always, you can always find something to talk about, and that's good. And for me, I've done something and I did it all the way, and so when I enter a room and when I meet producers or directors in this country, I think that people know that I want to do things that are with many layers. I want to play a whole person. I don't want to be the cute,
They're not
fluffy.
that many roles though. There's not
No,
that
I know,
many, yeah.
but I think it's changing. I think that the world, because I think also, I think that our industry and the business realize that, oh, well, something is wrong, because the whole world have pretty much embraced those movies about this screwed up, crazy girl that is so far out. She's so unsexy in a way. She's so uncharming, and something is, it must be some kind of secret in her. So I think that also, because the film have actually made a lot of money, and all those big bosses are, you know, probably have, they think about money as well. So I think that the world is pretty much ready to see more complicated and female characters that are more like the male, that we don't have to care. You know, I talked to Guy Ritchie the other day, and he said, you know, I don't think about her as a woman. She must, you know, she's like a man, or she's like a whole person. I said, yeah, good, because, you know, if that's what it takes, so yeah, because that's the way I think. I never read a script and, you know, oh, this is, if it's about a man, it's not like I can't relate to it. I relate to it as well. You know, I can read a book about a male character and I can fully, you know, go into his universe, and I don't make a big difference. So I think that the world's more ready for that we don't judge it like girls and men, you know, men's. It's more like people, humans.
Did Guy Ritchie mention to you that you look like Madonna at a very young age?
Oh, thank you. No, I'm gonna tell him that you said that.
So,
Do you think so, Guy Ritchie? No.
Do you feel yourself like a part of the great cinematic tradition of your country? Because, you know, everybody knows that Sweden is a country of Ingmar Bergman, and Ingmar Bergman is very famous for his very strong, impressive female characters.
Yeah.
What do you feel any relation to that? Tradition?
I actually spoke to Pernilla, who directed Beyond. She had worked with Bergman many times, so she knew him. And she said, you know, we talked about it, and she said, I think we all have it. She had worked with him. I haven't even met him, but I think that probably his spirit and the way he worked have paved the way for everybody, and in a way opened up for having, you know, putting the women in the spotlight, and you know, like Persona, for example, they are so way out, and they are really in some kind of area when you don't really know who's sick and who's not, and what's going on. And I think that I grew up on those movies, and also Bo Widerberg, and we have a lot of great filmmakers, and they are all worked pretty. They made films about people, and I think that's so, yeah, in one way, but also I don't feel so Swedish. I always felt like, oh, I don't really fit in. Something is wrong with me. You know, you're playing a game and I'm not really in it. So I always felt like I don't really know what's wrong with me, but I'm not the same as you are, because I'm not typical Swedish. So I think that I always knew that I will probably leave this country one day.
What's typical Swedish is?
I think that Swedes are much more controlled and much more, they don't show emotion so much. They don't show really what they mean. They are very uptight in a way, and polite and diplomatic. So it can be really, really hard to have like an argument with, you know, or a fight with someone who's typical Swedish, because they don't say. They go out and they whisper to Sophie, like, Noomi said that and that, and Noomi did that and that, but they wouldn't say to me. And that's, I think that's really difficult sometimes.
That's all the time we have, I'm sorry.